What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Ashley. We're back again with another episode of our Journey of Love. We are continuing our family edition. I'm here with the husband.
What up, though?
And his monotone introduction, per usual.
I gotta stay consistent.
One day I'm gonna get you to get a joyful introduction.
Cowabunga.
One of these that really? Really? Now you a Ninja Turtle? Are you a Ninja Turtle?
That's my inner animal.
That's your inner animal?
Yeah.
A Ninja Turtle. You always wanted to be a Ninja Turtle when you was little?
Yeah. Don't disrespect the Ninja Turtles.
I ain't said nothing about them. I just said you want to be a Ninja Turtle.
I did.
Interesting. So you want to be in the sewer with the rats?
I wanted to be a hero and save April O'Neil.
Okay. So as I stated, this is a continuation of our family edition where we are interviewing our parents to see how they influenced us in our thoughts on love, our perspective on relationships. And so today joining us is my mother-in-law, Miss Leslie.
My mama.
Whoop, whoop.
My mama, y'all.
We need an applause button.
Yes, thank you. She's here, y'all.
She is
in
here
the flesh.
in the flesh, live with us in the app studio. Boom.
Straight from Memphis, Tennessee.
Mm-hmm. How are you?
South Memphis zone.
Oh, come on with the introduction. Come on, keep it coming. Keep it coming. What else?
Over to high school.
Okay, come on.
Yeah.
Now. What else?
My mama. What's going on?
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good.
We are so glad that you could join us on today. We are excited to have you here.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm excited to be here. A little nervous.
Oh, it's going to be easy. It's all family. It's just us.
You just talking to us.
Just us. It's the motherfuckers, but it's just us.
Yes. Just gonna put that out there.
Right.
Slide that under
Slide
table.
that on in. Well, but right now it's just us.
Mm-hmm. Just us.
Mm-hmm. So tell us, or tell the world, a little bit about yourself, whatever you would like them to know about you and who you are, and what you do, all the good stuff.
Well, I've been married 33 years, and I have two beautiful kids. They are grown, and I have a new addition to the family, Miss Ashlee Epps.
That's me.
And I'm also, of course, a daughter, sister. I work at the West Cancer Center at Germantown, Tennessee. I've been there 18 years, and I work in the research department. And it's been a very dedicated, inspirational type of atmosphere at the clinic. Even though when you hear of cancer, you think of something real terrible, but
a lot of death. How would you think? First thing on the head, a lot of death.
Death, yes, terminal illness. But we are making progress at the clinic to save as many lives as possible.
That's good.
And that's about it at the moment.
I heard you got an anniversary coming up. A little birdie told me that you have a wedding anniversary coming up a couple of weeks.
Yes, it will be 34 years.
Okay, look at that. 34 years.
Come on now.
Ooh.
That's rare nowadays.
Yes.
You ain't lying.
Yes, it is.
You supposed to be divorcing in 34 minutes.
Hello? And that's over a microwave. Somebody
Right.
left something in
I
the
don't
microwave.
like you. I don't like you.
You wore the wrong color shirt today? That is it.
I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a continuing work.
You ain't
never
lied.
ending work. It's
Forever
hard work.
job.
I mean, for 34 years, I mean, does it get stale?
You can get complacent or stale if you can. That's another word, but it's a continuing job that you have to work at it daily.
Mm-hmm.
You just take one day at a time.
One day at a time. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. And through the 34 years, were there different phases as far as you and him together? I mean, do you feel like that, y'all, each decade, because that's what, 3 decades?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And it was, was it a different you and him?
Yes. We got married in our 20s, early 20s, and it was a growing process and a maturing process. Mm-hmm. And during that time, you do change. But long as you keep the communication open and if both have the same goals for the future, you have hope, you have something to work toward, and you got a future to look forward to.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot imagine getting married in my early 20s.
Me either.
Like, I can almost guarantee that wouldn't work. I can just almost guarantee, because
I've been lost. Whoever would have married me would divorce me.
Because I think my mouth was a little worse back then. I don't think. I know it was. Between that and me and just being independent, I'm like, child, listen, I'm about to go do me. I don't know what you about to do, but this is what I'm going to do. You can either do it or not. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that 20 marriage wouldn't have worked out too well.
So question, what would you tell your 20-something self when you first got married? You presently, what would you go, if you had a chance to go back in time, what would you tell your 20-something self?
Good question.
I would tell my 20-something self that it's not a fairy tale, and it is a continuing job that you would have to work at daily. Mm-hmm. And you are going to have some ups and downs. You are going to have some trials and tribulations, but going through those is a matter of how you react in the midst of going through. Is how you're going to come out of it. Mm-hmm. That's what I would tell my younger self.
Okay. That's good advice, especially fairy tale. Right. I think a lot of people, especially millennials, we have this idea of a fairy tale because we have so much, I guess, in front of us, TV shows and different things, and what the idea of marriage and love should look like. And they paint it in this pretty picture sometimes that, you just meet the one, you fall in love, you get your house with the white picket fence, and you live happily ever after.
Exactly. And
they neglect to mention that it's work. They neglect that part altogether.
Exactly.
So when you get in there, you're like, wait a minute, hold up. You want this type of person when I first met you. So yeah, it's definitely some work involved. I totally agree with that.
Yeah, it's some work involved, but I think marriage now with the millennial category, you get that word, that millennial category, and the ones younger than us, that's it's almost a forgotten dinosaur. It's almost
exactly
because it's now you have people who are getting older, who are being more independent and not getting married as young as your age group. I think they called you guys the
Gen X, I think.
Gen X, I think you the Gen X, and then so Gen X, Generation X for people who don't know what the Gen X is. But y'all got married young.
Yes.
Y'all was just, let's go.
But I think that was society back then. That was just kind of the goal, and find a spouse and settle down. I think another problem currently that we have within the younger group is that we think everyone is dispensable. That's one thing we do. It's like if they upset you for whatever reason, instead of, we don't have that stick to itness, that let's work it out, let's figure out what went wrong, is you piss me off, I'm done.
Mm-hmm. Right.
That's just what it is.
I don't want to talk. Commitment is not there.
Yeah, I don't want to talk to you. There's nothing to talk about. You're done. Mm-hmm. And I think that's a lot of mindset that they have. No one's really to work it out, to fight it through. Mm-hmm. Realizing that love is not a feeling, but a commitment, is that I've committed to you, even on those days when you're getting on my nerves, even on those days where I just don't feel like it, even on those days where it's just, I just want to sit there and not deal with anybody. But I made a commitment to you, and it's my job to do that, to go through those stages, even when I just don't want to, Mm-hmm. So, but exactly. I think that lacks.
What do you think, Mom? You got, your coworkers or people that's, are younger that are trying to or are in marriages.
Yeah.
What do you see from your perspective?
I see that lack of commitment, lack of forgiveness,
Key.
easy to say, I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell the younger generation that when they approach me, I would, for whatever the reason may be, I try to give them a little of my advice and my struggle, and to let them know that it's not going to be easy. And you have to make a commitment, whether you want this or you don't want this. And if you don't want it, don't waste your time or the other person's time. But if you do want this, it's not going to be easy. It's going to be, you're going to have trials. You're going to get upset. You're not going to like that other person.
Right.
Like and
All
love
the
is
time.
totally different things.
That's right.
And you got to make a choice. We all have choices. We all have free will.
You mentioned something key. You said the lack of forgiveness, which I think is essential in any relationship. But I do feel like, again, it goes back to the people are dispensable. They just not willing to forgive. And going back to what you said about the fairy tale, that's part of it. And I think people don't want to accept that part of it either. In addition to not being committed, they don't want to accept that forgiveness is a huge part of long-lasting relationships. It's just what it is. Because at the end of the day, everybody is human. Everybody makes mistakes. And you have to always be in a posture of forgiveness, especially when you're married. You have to, because you don't ever want to hold on to something and then you have a grudge and then resentment builds and then you have other issues all because you chose not to forgive for something. So I think that's a key point too.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So, so what kind of examples of mentors or people that was in your life that showed you, examples of love?
I can use my dad as a great example, because the way we were brought up, I did have my mom in my life physically, but emotionally she wasn't there because of her mental status. My dad helped take care of us, 7 kids.
Woo.
My mom didn't work. There was a lot of trials and tribulations that we went through. A lot of it I didn't understand as a young child growing up, always wondering why my mom was in the situation that she was in. And as I became a teenager, reaching out to God and giving my life to Him, and hopefully He was giving me spiritual advice as far as not to dwell on my mom's situation.
Right.
A lot of things that I missed out on having a mom and daughter relationship. I tried to instill that in my daughter and our relationship. But using my dad as an example, he took care of us. It's a lot of things besides my father. Somebody was praying for us. Maybe grandparents or cousins or uncles or aunts. Somebody had to be looking over us because we could have strayed to different situations. All could have been wrong, went wrong. And my dad stood in there thick and thin, never quivered, never left, always loved us unconditionally. And I think seeing that in my life, that's one, if I, as a young person, if I ever got married, that's how I wanted to treat my family, unconditional.
Yeah.
Because we're all human. We're not perfect. And, just strive to be God-like, even though we miss the mark every time. But I wanted to, I have so much love to give in my heart. And I wanted to spill that to my family, or show that to my family. Unconditional. As y'all grew up, that's what I wanted to be an example.
So, I mean, go back to Granddaddy. Shout out to him. And you said, was he, was it his examples? Was it the things that he did? Or was it, or did he, pull you to the side? Was it conversations that you and him had? Because, you stated that he was the one, pulling the strings. He was the one making it work, with, 7 children, and then, grandma having, the mental status that she was in. Was it, which one was it? Was it the examples that he was doing that she was watching from far back, or was it,
the examples?
The examples.
The examples.
So it's like those unspoken lessons, not
Yes.
necessarily the direct. See, and I always tell people you learn more from those unspoken lessons than you actually do when you're, I think, communicating with somebody, because it's not a lot of times about what you say. It's a lot of times about what you do and what you see. That's what always sticks with you, because you can always forget what somebody tells you, but how they made you feel or how you view the situation, you're not going to forget that. I think that's key too.
Yeah. Shout out to my granddaddy out there being a soldier.
Yes, holding it down.
Well, he was a soldier. Shout out to him.
Good black man.
Right.
Yes. See, more examples of good black men. We're trying to get y'all out.
That's what I'm saying.
Out
They
this
out
idea.
here.
Ain't no good man out here.
They
We're
out
trying to
here
get
now.
you out that mindset, y'all. They exist. I promise you they do. They still out here. Just
They
gotta
out
find
here.
them. Gotta look a little bit, but they here.
So, after you became, I guess, an adult,
Yeah.
or a young adult, 18, 19 or whatever, what was your outlook on love then? Because you're an adult now.
My outlook on love was finding someone to care for me, me to care for that person, and to be an example for that person. Just someone genuine.
Mm-hmm.
So how did you meet your current husband? Because I don't know y'all's love story. So how did y'all meet? Like, how did all that happen? And how long did you date? And when did he ask you to marry him? Like, all that. How did all that
We
happen?
met at the University of Memphis,
Okay.
on campus.
Mm-hmm.
I was being interviewed for Alpha Sweetheart,
Oh.
and coming to Sweetheart.
Excuse
For people who don't know, that, my dad is an alpha.
Alpha me.
Right.
And after that, we dated for about a year and a half.
Guess
And
that interview went well.
So hold on. Did he interview you, or somebody else
No.
interview you? It was a panel.
he was on the panel, but he had to go to work, so he didn't actually want me. It was my turn to be interviewed. He actually had to leave. So, but come to find out that he was telling one of his frat brothers, "I'm gonna marry that girl."
What?
Didn't even know me.
See,
Okay.
that goes back to men know what they want.
Yup.
I don't know why y'all be playing these games, but go ahead.
So did you notice him, or you were just there just to be?
I noticed him, but not like that.
Mm-hmm.
Because of course I was nervous. Because there was other young ladies there, and there was panel judges.
Yeah.
And this was just a couple of days later at the party or introduction to the Alpha Sweethearts that we started talking and dating,
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So let me backtrack a little bit. What made you just wanted to be an alpha sweetheart?
Just to get involved with some extracurricular activity on campus.
Okay, I just wanted to know.
What does that have to do? That was an important part of the love story. She had to interview in order to meet her husband.
I understand that. I just wanted to know,
That was part of the plan.
what made her want to be a sweetheart. I mean, I didn't know it was a flyer. It was a homegirl said, "Girl, go ahead and do this."
Not a flyer, child.
I
I want you. I can't.
I just wanted to know. So continue. Y'all dated for a year and a half.
Yeah, and
How did he ask you though? How did he ask you on the first date? That's what I want to know.
Oh my goodness!
Did he write you a note?
Y'all know it's been 34 years.
No, that was
Philmore
marriage.
sent me a text with a sticky note on it.
I mean, it was a normal, guy. He asked me out for a date. And
Oh, it was face to face?
Yeah, that was face to face.
Wasn't no texting.
No one, no texting.
I didn't know if he wrote you a letter and shot it across. I didn't know what was going on.
A little birdie came through with a little note on his leg.
Right. When the homeboys came over, yo, my boy feeling you, you know.
None of that.
Okay.
Cool. So y'all dated for a year and a half.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then if I recall,
There you go. Come on.
we was talking about marriage, but he didn't really ask me. But I think I kind of asked him first, and he said, "Well, I was going to ask you that."
Oh.
And that's how it happened.
Unball your face. You confused?
I'm real confused here.
Unball your face. You're like, wait, what?
Hold on. Okay. Hold on. Back up. When did you fall in love with him?
I was about to ask that.
How long did it take?
How long did it take?
Yeah. How long
'Cause
did it
ain't
take? What did he
this
do?
one long.
It took a minute because
Over 6 months?
Yeah, I'll
Okay.
say over 6 months.
Okay.
Yeah. We had to get to know each other a little bit, and everybody was on their best behavior. You know how that goes when you're dating.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
You got your representative.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, so how did this proposal came about now? How did this
You
conversation?
want to go there?
He does. Clearly, he is so
Oh, my
confused.
goodness.
He is really intrigued by this.
Yeah, I'm just.
It's been so long ago, Philmore. He did ask me, and I said yes. I was ready. You just go through life and you dream. Well, I don't know how about guys do, but women dream of being married one day and settling down with the right person. And I believe that while we was dating or whatever, and I said, okay, I can see myself with this guy. And I think when he asked me, I was ready. I was ready to make that 100% commitment. Even though I was young and innocent, didn't know a lot, but I think in my heart I was ready.
He was ready.
Mm-hmm.
So did he exhibit some qualities that your father had? Is that one of the things that drew you to him, or did you see some similarities between the two?
Similarities, and then of course some of the things that I needed a strong-willed individual, and that's what I got.
Oh yeah,
Individual.
you got a strong will, one boy.
You
Be
have
careful
to.
what you ask
There's a
for.
balance. There has to be a balance because he's a little bit different, of course, than me.
Right.
He's more outgoing than I am, but
Yeah.
I was looking for somebody to balance that, to help bring out more of me,
Gotcha.
and
Gotcha.
vice versa. I believe I was the softer part of what he needed, and he was the stronger part of what I needed to help bring me out more, my personality out.
Right.
And that's how we involved.
Oh, he made you better.
Yes, yes, he sure
Y'all
did.
made
That's
each
what a
other better.
relationship is supposed to do.
Yes.
If you're not bringing out the best in each other, let's just stop wasting time.
Right. I mean, I guess they did 34 years.
That's fact. Because you brought out my soft side. You wouldn't let me be rough and tough.
Yeah, she
Your
wanted
son
to be.
told me. He said no. He said I want. He said I want someone soft. I was like, okay. Okay, just wait for that. And
I
he
said-
softened me up.
Yes. I said, if I want to hug a rock, I will.
Exactly what you said. I said, well, sir. Now he's my soft spot. That's my soft spot.
All
You
right.
won't see too many tears, but over him, I'll give him a little few, give him about 2 or 3.
She wanted to be a thug so bad. I was like, no more thugging here. No more.
It's fine. You fell in love quicker than your daddy did.
Now it's a competition?
No, I'm just saying.
Oh,
Just
okay.
saying.
He was just ready.
Facts.
No, Let me tell you, I gotta say this little tidbit. Then we're gonna get back to you because I am going to share this with the world. This man, you remember that movie Straight Outta Compton?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
He texted me the day after that movie.
Actually, it was right after. I got out.
Well, I didn't get a text for the day after. I was asleep by the time you texted me. He came out from that hard gangster movie and realized, had just had an epiphany after watching that movie that he loved me. I was like, what? What is the correlation between Straight Outta Compton and, dang, I really love Ashley? Like, you was just in there while they shooting up everybody. I was like, I really love Ashley. Like, what was going through your mind?
That movie wasn't about shooting up everybody.
Come on. Suge Knight and all them
Only
folks
one person died in the movie.
There was a lot of drugs and violence and gangs. So I'm
was a whole
not
bunch of
understanding
stuff.
the correlation between that and love. Like, what was the
I don't know.
mind
Maybe you got to
shift?
watch the movie again.
Yeah. So he came out of the movie. He sent me a text, and I woke up to it the next day. And he said that he had just left the movies, and that he realizes that he loves me. He was like, "You don't have to say it back, though. I just wanted you to know how I feel."
I was being vulnerable. I was being very vulnerable.
Oh, that's sweet.
So yeah, she waits about 10:30, 11 o'clock the next morning to text me back.
And you was on pins and needles waiting.
I knew she was up, but I was just
Oh, okay.
How did you know I was up?
because she had to work the next day.
I thought that was a weekend. Okay. Might have been. I did wait a minute. Not on purpose. I was still trying to get my life together and wake
Right,
up.
you had to process it, go through the database.
No, I just had open my eyes. Because that was just a rollover and was like oh, that's so sweet. I love him too, but I had to get my life together. I can't just be texting like 2 seconds after I wake up. Like, I gotta make sure my mind clear. Let me brush my teeth at least.
Really?
Okay, I digress. I just had to share that. Thought that was just so cute.
What do you think is your opinion on the love aspect of being married? You know, what is the strong and weak points of it? What is, you're married now, so you didn't went through your upbringing, you didn't went through your dating phase. Now you're married now.
Being a young bride, I had to grow up. Spiritually, was not at my strongest point at that time. And the trials and tribulations that we was going through at different points, it was hard and difficult. Because spiritually I guess you could say I was a babe spiritually. But as I've grown and matured, I realized that God was taking me through some steps to challenge me, to grow me spiritually. And I know during those times, I never waver as to, I need to get out of this. I need to get out of this, because that's not me. That's not my personality. But once I commit myself to doing something, I'm going to stay there to the end, through thick and thin. And that's the way it has always been, and that's the way I am in my marriage. I know that it's not going to be easy at this point in my life as well. As long as you're living on this earth, you're going to have some trials and tribulations. It's just a matter of going through them, because you're going to go through them, and you're going to come out of it. But then on the other side, there's going to be another one down the road.
Right, right.
So we as individuals have to make in our mind, or make a choice. You in it for the long haul, or you're not.
Right.
And I always say, I'm not wasting my time, or I'm not going to waste your time.
Facts.
So, would you say that, and I'm gonna take you a little back. Would you say this is this example I'm gonna give was one of the first examples of a hard time? Let's paint the setting here. It's 1986.
Oh,
It just
that's
had me
way back.
Philmore and Ashlee the third. Detroit, Michigan. Y'all, I was born in Detroit, Michigan. He got released from what was it, Ford?
Mm-hmm. No, General Motors.
General Motors. My bad. No disrespect. General Motors. So give me a how was that? I mean, because that now we're in that's a hard time that you just got to talking about. So how was it? How was the?
Sheesh.
You just got a newborn. Your husband just lost his job. What was going through?
Yes, that was a hard time, and no family of mine in Detroit.
So no support, really.
He had family there. There was a support to some degree, but never thought, newly married, newly baby here, and your husband lose his job, and
Were you working too?
no, I just had you. So no, I was not working, and had no idea what the future hold at that particular point in time. But it was just the grace of God.
Were you scared or?
Of course,
Child, yes.
scared.
Did you see the scenario? You just scared?
Scared. No mother there, no siblings there, no one to help with the baby. It was just me and him, and we had to just do what you do.
Make it work.
Make it work. We ended up coming back home, but I mean, it was a struggle. It was scary at that time because you don't know from day to day what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But just the grace of God was on us and protecting us, and we made it through. Yes.
So I have a question for you. Excuse me. So I would like to know what you instilled in Philmore and Angelica. Like, what did you want to instill in them as far as love and what to look for in relationships? And did you instill different aspects of them? Like, because since he's a boy and she's a girl, did you instill different things in them or different things they should be looking for in their future spouse or what not to do in relationships? Anything like that?
The only thing I really instilled in them was I tried to use myself as an example because they were, of course, along when we had other different trials in our lives.
Right.
So me and my husband, we tried to set an example and try to our best, hold it together. Mm-hmm. So they wouldn't see as much stress that we were going through. Mm-hmm. And we also instill in them to love each other no matter what, to support each other no matter what. Mm-hmm. And no matter what they were going through as children or school activity or whatever the case may be, or if they got in trouble for one reason or another, I wanted them to know that in spite of everything, that we still love them. I still love them. Mm-hmm. And they can always count on us. Count on me. And as far as them looking for a spouse in different relationships, there was only one thing that I did tell them I did not like. Mm-hmm. But as far as, since I'm old school,
she used the air quotes.
The fact that living together before you get married, I did not like that situation because the woman in the situation will always lose out.
Always. Thank you.
Because you have no rights to anything.
And you give him all the access.
And
with no commitment from him.
But as they become adults, they have to make their own mind their own decisions and be genuine, be committed. And I'm always here for them. If they have any questions about this or that or the other,
Right.
I'm always here to support them. But I always tell them, spiritually, get your life together spiritually.
Right.
Financially. And as far as a male is concerned, I always told Philmore that you will be the head of the household if you one day want to be married. Mm-hmm. And you is the leader, and everything falls on you. Mm-hmm. Whether you want your wife to work or not, that's something y'all have to discuss. And that's something that y'all have to work out. But if you are ultimately the responsibility of taking care of that young lady. And as far as Angelica is concerned, I used to tell her, like I said, old school, the guy needs to come to the house to meet you. They need to meet your parents. We need to find out who they are. Mm-hmm. No shacking. But the ultimate decision is yours once you come into a certain age.
Right.
And I told her as well, get your life together as far as spiritually, financially, and be ready for a mate. Get your life ready for a mate if that's what you want long term.
Right.
This is a process. It's something that's not going to magically happen. You got to prepare for these things in life. And you have to wait on God. It's not what you want, it's what God has for you.
Say it louder for the people in the back.
Don't block your blessing.
That's so
Keep
true.
saying it.
You do.
Exactly.
I think those are some good lessons. I know one that stuck with Philmore was the not shack, and I think him and I were in agreement with that off bat. Mm-hmm. We were just like, nah, we both good on that. I know my mama didn't play that either. Even though I was grown, she was like, what you doing?
Mine, they had to tell me that. They knew I wasn't.
Well, yeah, I wasn't gonna do that anyway. One, because I like my own space, and I like coming home and not having to worry about this, and not having to worry about if there was an argument with you boyfriend, girlfriend, and somebody done threw you out of your stuff here on the curve in the tree in a bush. I don't have time for all that. Right. That's just too much. But I think that's so unheard of, especially in this day and age. I know a lot of people when I told them that, because as most people know, Philmore and I were long distance through dating and our engagement pretty much. And while I was looking to move here, looking for employment, my thing was always, even if I got here within a certain time frame before the wedding, then I'm just going to get my own spot. And no one understood that. Everyone was like, why don't you just move in him? Why don't you? I said, because that's not what we're doing, Right. So it just so happened I got a job 2 weeks before the wedding. So in that case, it didn't make sense. But
it was by design.
Right. Exactly.
Right. In that case, it didn't make sense. But had I gotten something sooner, especially 6-7 months out, that was always the plan, to get my own spot. And I guess I was shocked at why people didn't understand that, because these were older people. Some of these people were older. They were in their 50s. It's like, well, my daughter stays with her boyfriend. I'm like, okay. And what does that have to do with me? Like, I'm not staying with, I'm not. Just not.
Exactly.
So I don't know. I don't know where that transition in mind, that shift came from. The
shift came from the media, television, celebrities. That's where the shift has come from. Yeah. Everybody's getting away from the norm. And these standards that were considered old school, they still work.
Ain't that what my mama said?
When you divert from the old school, the things that work, that's when trouble comes along.
Yeah. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
That's right. And that's something, whenever we do decide to have children, that I want to impart on them too. Yep. Because I ain't got time. I don't have time.
I agree.
I just value yourself enough and be able to hold it down by yourself. Just like you said, get yourself prepared, spiritually, financially. And I think that's key. And I don't think enough people talk about how women need to be financially ready too. I think they put that all on the men. And while I agree the man is a household, but you still need to have your stuff together. Don't come in here with no 230 credit score. Get yourself together. Get yourself together.
God.
I'm serious, because I think a lot of women see men as a financial savior. It's like, oh, I have a husband now. He got it. He got it all. He gonna turn this around. He gonna turn. Yeah, and while, you may have a husband that'll just come in and save the day, but you still need to have some sense about yourself. You still need to be able to, if he gave you some money, to invest it and figure out, what to do with it to make it profitable for the family. So
Right.
I think that's key too. And I just don't think it gets talked about a lot.
It doesn't.
I really don't.
Cause they trying to go dig.
They trying to do that, and they just trying to. And you know what people thought was strange about us too is that we paid our wedding off before the wedding happened. The wedding and the ring. Wedding and the rings. They were like, "What?
Oh.
How'd y'all do that?" I said, "Working God, child." I said,
Child,
"Some of
you
this
ain't
stuff."
lying.
I said, because we was down to the wire.
Man,
We was 3 weeks out, and I'm like, bro, we still got one balance due, and I don't know how we paying this.
right.
And
said,
money
"How we
came.
gonna
I
do
was
it?"
like, oh, praise God.
She said, "How we gonna do it?" I said, "No, we got it.
That's
Listen.
right.
We got it."
That was my part-time job, being a negotiator. We can't can you knock out 500? No, keep everything. We just need 500 knocked out. Now, I don't want to change that. I just want to change price.
Yeah. I mean that was a nice moment of, of what's the word I'm looking for? Not struggle, but a test. There it is, test. Where, we had to stand that ground and believe that, hey, we gonna get this done, even though the deadline and they look, what we see on paper.
Right.
Especially because I was the one handling the paperwork. So I'm just relaying stuff like, all right, balance for this, balance for this. We this do there, this do here. So when I'm looking, I'm like, all right. So I only get one more check. So I don't know before this wedding. I was like, no.
That wasn't none but the Lord. That was a blessing.
That's it.
That's it.
Made it work.
all it was.
Made it work.
Yeah.
Yes.
Made it work. But I would like to I guess give my partake on my perception
Please do.
of my mom and the love that she gave, and I mean I can just go as far as back when I was little. The main thing I would say is sacrifice. She sacrificed a lot, and I mean by when you worked at the hospital and you was working overnight, it was nothing for her. She would go to work, and I remember she used to work the 7 to 7 or 11 to 7. It was 11 to 7. That's right, 11 to 7. And you talking about she getting off at 7 o'clock in the morning, and your kid's up now.
Right.
We up.
So now you in mommy mode.
Yeah, she mommy mode. She, makes us food. She's playing with us. She's, taking us to the library and
School field trips.
Yeah, school field trips. And, teaching us how to ride bikes and stuff like that. And she had to do all that before she got to sleep. That's part of the sacrifice and trying to instill, consistency.
Right.
That's one thing that's been still sticking with me today is being consistent and having a balance. Yeah. Because she didn't get off track of that.
Right.
She stayed consistent no matter how tired she might have been. She stayed consistent. It was like we didn't miss a beat. Me and Jugga didn't miss a beat. She came, Daddy went to work. She came home. She fixed his breakfast. We did yada, yada, yada. Helped schoolwork or whatnot. It was consistent. Even when we got older, when I was out there buck wilding.
What? You was buck wild?
Yeah, I ain't gonna say this out.
Not
Angel.
the sweet angel.
I never said I was an
Oh
angel.
my goodness!
I never said I was an angel. I was never an angel, but many times that she had my back. No, I mean the whole entire world could have been against me. The only person that had my back was her.
That's what mom's supposed to do.
Yeah, she had it.
Yes,
And
on the
I
front line for their babies.
appreciate her that.
Yeah.
She had my back, and I mean, that's what I bring in with the love and example that she gave, because no matter what.
Is that why you're so consistent? Because you are very consistent.
Yes,
you are very consistent.
I get it from her.
Thank you, Mom.
You're welcome.
He is very consistent.
I get it from her.
Even when him and I are not getting along, he is still consistent. He might be upset and I might be upset, but he is still consistent. He's still gonna text me sweet stuff in text messages. He's still gonna say good morning.
I'ma still hug her.
I might not. Now, I ain't gonna lie. I ain't there yet. We going together. I might be like, I say good morning. Hey, how you doing?
And you know what's crazy? And that's something I get from her. She, even if, I did something, she might give me that look like, I am so pissed off at you.
Yeah.
But come here, I'm gonna give you a hug.
Yeah.
She's still gonna ask me how my day was, or,
That's beautiful.
She's still gonna.
I love that about him too. I do. I love that about him.
She might look at me and say, you dirtbag, but.
What?
You little troll. But I still love you. So I appreciate that, Mom.
Oh, you're welcome.
I do too. I sure do.
Let me throw this in there too. Now, sometimes you might not like what that person did to you, your spouse, or but that doesn't mean you don't love them.
True.
That is absolutely.
So, see, that's a difference, and that's what people need to understand, like and love.
I tell you that all the time.
We are human. We are human beings. We're not God. We got feelings, but you have to make a honest decision and say, I don't like you right now, but I still love you.
Do I not tell you that?
You do.
I said, I do love you. I just don't like you in this moment, and I need a second. Like, and to piggyback off that, too, sometimes when people don't like somebody in that moment, they go off and do stupid stuff.
Exactly, and that's wrong.
Y'all need to cut that out, because at the end of the day, like I said, love is a commitment, and just because you don't like them in that moment, that day, the day after, that is not an excuse for you to go out and do whatever the heck you want to do and further, or damage your relationship in a way that might be irreparable. Right. That's not what that's for. That's just time for you to sit back, go get some popcorn, watch your movie, write in your journal, whatever it is you do to decompress, get your stuff together, and go back to your spouse and work it out.
Exactly.
That's how you get to 34 years.
That's right.
That's right. That's right.
That is exactly how you get to it. So, okay. All right. Well, Mom, this was a good episode. I appreciate you coming on.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this was fun, after all.
Yeah, can y'all believe she was nervous? She ain't sound nervous at all. She
didn't.
Good.
She did like she's
a
been here
professional
before.
now. She is a professional podcaster.
All right.
We gonna get us an applause button so I can just push it.
Just add it in there. We need a bigger board that costs money.
In due time.
We're gonna start a GoFundMe.
Something.
Ain't that what everybody else do? They need to start a GoFundMe.
GoFundMe.
But we just won't start a GoFundMe. We just gonna join in. Anything else you want to add, honey bun?
Nope.
Anything else you want to say, Mom?
Well, the only other thing I would like to add is forgiveness. When we were just talking about like and love, that you got to remember that God forgave us.
Right.
And we have to forgive others. So we can move on.
Yes.
Not to say you don't love that individual, but you might not like them. But forgive them. Because God forgave us.
Yep.
That's it.
All right. Well, y'all heard it. Some words of wisdom from Mama Epps, a.k.a. Miss Leslie, a.k.a. my mother-in-law. Woo-hoo. Shout out to her. Thank you so much for joining us today. It was a great time.
Yes, it was. I enjoyed it.
Great time. And thank you, listeners, for joining in to our Journey of Love podcast. We are so grateful that you turn in to us on a weekly basis. Just a reminder to be sure that you subscribe and follow us on all of our pages, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube.
Podbean, Spotify.
Yes, all that. Google Play, Apple Podcasts. As Philmore likes to say, we on everything. Every platform. So make sure that you follow us, subscribe to keep up to date about what's going on with the podcasting news. Hopefully we'll be dropping some videos here and there on our YouTube about some of our couple times, our QT times, our travel experiences. We look forward to getting some of those done whenever
So
we
be
have
on the
time
lookout.
to get our life together.
Be on the lookout.
But until next time, you guys remember, love is patient, love is kind. Be sure to join us here next time. Peace.